Defend yourself against DDoS attacks by hiding your true IP address with ExpressVPN, and visit my custom link expressvpn.com/ghilliemaster in the description to find out how you can get an extra 3 months free. Hey everyone, and welcome to another GTA Online video here on the channel. A couple weeks ago I made a video discussing vehicle balance and some areas that still need improvements, mainly helicopters and bigger bomber planes. But in that video I briefly mentioned the Railgun and how I think it could maybe use a nerf now that the jet cannons of the Laser and Hydra are nerfed and more balanced now. Because at the current moment I feel like our players on foot have way more firepower than even weaponized vehicles, helicopters, and jets do. Think about it, we have the homing launcher, the RPG, the grenade launcher, railgun, long-range sniper rifles potentially with explosive rounds, explosive shotguns, and EMP grenade launcher. All at the same time, we can all carry that simultaneously. You're almost better off being on foot than in a weaponized helicopter or something at this point. I was all in favor of the railgun being in the game with how powerful it is because of how powerful the laser and hydra cannons were, but now that they're balanced out, the railgun kind of gets rid of any sort of use of vehicles, especially air vehicles like helicopters, because they're so easy to hit and a lot of them go down in just one shot from the railgun. So in this video, I've conceptualized 2 rebalances of the railgun that I feel fix the core issues of it, because I'm not against it being in the game, but in the current form, I do think it's a tad bit too strong and, dare I say, oppressive. First, let's really quick go over what the issue or issues with the railgun are, because I truly think it's only one major thing, and that's the rate of fire and the ease of accessibility to ammo for it. This weapon can one-shot most weaponized vehicles and two-shot almost any aircraft, and it only takes you a second or so to reload after each shot. And if you combine that with the fact that you can hold 20 of them at once with the reload skip exploit where you can swap to a throwable and back to shoot shots off extremely fast, despite there being a reduction to the weapon's bullet velocity, which makes it hard to hit shots on moving vehicles, especially like jets, is there really a penalty for missing when you can just rapid fire like this and buy ammo through the interaction menu to have unlimited shots? Even if you don't do the reload skip method, it still reloads really fast. That is what I believe to be the biggest issue with the balance of the railgun. The only other problem I can think of is the damage. It could be a bit too damaging maybe, but as you'll see with what I've done to rebalance it here, I think the damage could stay the same. What I think needs to happen is that helicopters just need to be more tanky against it. They need to be more resistant to explosive ammo damage altogether. Now what I've done is I went ahead and turned the railgun from an ammo consuming weapon where you reload after every shot to a charge over time weapon similar to the stun gun that we have in multiplayer. And this sets out to fix the spammage issue that the railgun has. And how I did this is I first took the ammo count away in the game files, then I switched the ammo type to the stun gun, which basically means there is no ammo that it pulls from, so it shows no ammo count in the HUD, as well as set the clip count to basically infinite. After that, the main variable to change is our time between shots or rate of fire. This now determines the recharge rate of each shot of the gun, and this means you would only be able to shoot the railgun once every certain amount of seconds, whatever you have it set to. For the purposes of this video, I set it to 10 seconds, but perhaps 12 or 15 seconds would be a bit more balanced. And last but not least, the weapon flags, which just change some housekeeping things such as blocking the reload animation, showing the recharge bar in the HUD, things like that. And in the gameplay, you now have a railgun that is designed as a powerful weapon still, but quite unforgiving if you miss your shot. You'll have to wait for it to recharge before you can fire it again, which makes sense for an electric-based weapon like a railgun. And all in all, it's a lot more balanced. Think about it this way. Say you're in an air vehicle and you're engaging someone on the ground. If the railgun worked like my rebalance here, you are able to see railgun tracers when it's fired in your direction. So as a pilot, you can use that as a visual cue that if it either hit you or missed you, that you now have 15 seconds where the player cannot fire the railgun again, so it's now your time to go into attack mode and take advantage of that. Or you'd know it would be safe to give them a line of sight on you without worrying about being blasted by a follow-up railgun shot directly after that. It would make the combat flow a lot more interesting, as opposed to just being extremely worried about getting shot by the railgun at every second that you're in the air. There is one mechanic from the stun gun that I couldn't unfortunately get to apply in the mod here, and that's when you fire the stun gun and try to do the weapon swap method to skip the cooldown of the stun gun. That doesn't work in the multiplayer version of it. And ideally that would also have to apply to the railgun recharge. You wouldn't be able to cheese it to rapid fire the weapon. I'm not exactly sure how that's programmed though. It might be hard coded because it still applies to the MP stun gun if you do equip it in single player, but I just couldn't get it to work with the recharge of the railgun here. But that would have to be kind of a requirement, otherwise their balance doesn't really do anything. Another concept that I wanted to share with you guys is to change the railgun from a lethal explosive weapon to a non-lethal EMP railgun. And if you've seen my compact EMP launcher Rebalance, this is basically that, but just in a railgun, which would make a lot more sense than the little compact EMP launcher. Everything else would apply with the recharge mechanic, but instead of it causing explosive damage, it would EMP the target you shoot. So if you manage to hit a jet with it, or a helicopter, or any vehicle, it would immobilize it for a few seconds, which depending on what position the vehicle is in, could be fatal. If you EMP'd a jet going down for a straight, for example, it would likely just smash into the ground and die, which would be hilarious. But it could also buy you time for a follow-up shot with another weapon when they are immobile. Hitting a helicopter, for example, could allow you to line up a rocket or prevent them from getting into a position to attack you. And obviously, like I said, this would have to work on a recharge too, otherwise you could just EMP lock someone in their vehicle from really far away, and that wouldn't exactly be a fun thing to deal with, although I'm sure people would rather take that over the current railgun. What's also very interesting about this is that the railgun's model light itself is kind of perfectly set up to work on a recharge system. Take a look at this clip when I fire it. You see that little light bar on the top of the gun? The bar slowly turns red after I fire it, and stays red until it's done recharging to where all the lights on the gun turn blue again. It would be neat if that little bar slowly turned blue in line with the recharge bar in the HUD to signify the recharge process, just like the stun gun has its little bar on the weapon to show the same exact thing. It just looks like it's set up in a way that would be possible to do, because when you fire it now, it's just an instant change to red, but with the recharge mechanics, for some reason it slowly empties to red instead, which looks really cool. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about these concepts down in the comments. Do you think the railgun could get a nerf now that the air vehicles like the Laser and Hydra have gotten a pretty big nerf? And do you think what I've gone over here would suffice for a nerf if it were to get one? If you enjoyed the video or found it helpful, feel free to leave a like as well as subscribe to my channel for more GTA Online content. I want to give a huge shout out to all my channel members for your support. If you'd like to become a member for some exclusive perks, you can either use the join button or the link that's down in the description. And as always, thanks for watching and have a great day.